Start it up. All right, welcome. We are live. We are back after 3 weeks of me being on vacation and then another week of just schedules not working. But nonetheless, we have made it. We're ready for Curse of Strahd session 13. Last time we left off, the group had a little run in on Mount Gakis as they were en route with Kashmir and Ishmark in their party to find this Amber Temple, one of the last clues to find an artifact against the evil Strahd. Halfway up, they started realizing that the weather started getting a little worse for wear, and maybe not being the most dressed, they tried to adorn themselves with costumes, but that wasn't providing the most warmth for them. They found a little gravesite which had a mysterious voice call out to Dragar, actually, almost telepathically, and told him to pick up a hammer, which he found by the gravesite, and to defeat the ruler of this mountain and claiming this hammer as his own. After doing that, a dire wolf kind of popped up, and Dragar thought that he was going to have a face down against this wolf, but to his surprise, a giant bird, gargantuan in size, swooped down and ate the dire wolf in one quick move, and the battle ensued. They had their blows against the beast, but after a while, it grabbed onto Dragar and started flying up the mountains, despite them trying to catch up with the steed of Dirge and Gaia summoning a flock of ravens. They were not able to keep up with this gargantuan beast that easily could fly like 240 feet a turn. We left the group as a storm started setting in, a sharp wind with snow kind of whipping against the party's face, and Dragar and the rock flying off in the horizon. And that is pretty much where we'll start. Welcome back.
Guys, I know I was joking about a rock, but this is all a coincidence. Trust me.
Don't worry, I'm sure this rock is Dragar's friend. They just reunited. Let's go get them.
And just as you guys are kind of collecting yourselves and figuring out what to do, the flock of ravens does show up finally, if not too late.
Yes, that way.
They will land right beside you, or at least one of them. The others kind of just perching themselves along rocks on this mountain. The wind is starting to pick up quite a bit more now, and you're borderline in whiteout conditions as the snow starts whipping against you guys on the side of this mountain. This little path that's almost like a shelf kind of hanging out on top of the mountain. One of the ravens kind of lands right in front of you, Gaia, and it looks at you curiously for some kind of instructions why you summoned it here.
Rock, got the Dragar. Follow the dwarf that way. Look for the rock. That's basically what she's going to be trying to and the
when she says rock, we mean ROC, like a giant bird.
Yes, a big bird, big giant bird, rock.
Not to be confused with rocks.
Yeah, the raven was kind of just like hopping around and curiously twitching its head back and forth, looking at Gaia like rock. And then after hearing Dirge's explanation, he kind of clues in, at least you think so, because he flies up to the other ravens, and with a couple caws, they all take up off flying, a big swarm of them, and they start flying up the mountain. You see that the birds are actually struggling to even fly in this immense wind, but you get the sense that they at least understood what you're saying. Find Dragar.
Excellent. Okay. Oh, it's so... I might as well head that way, but at the same time, with all the snow, we are not going to be much up. Like I would think, like we can't even see the round bird anymore.
Ishmark would come up to you and say, a storm is definitely setting in. It looks like a bad one. He points up to the top of the mountain, and you see an immense black cloud kind of lingering above this mountainside that you guys are like halfway up now. I don't know if we're dressed appropriately or ready for this.
I'm about ready to turn into a wolf to better handle this.
And interestingly enough, as you say that, Kashmir kind of steps forth, and he kind of shrugs his shoulders, and this is like, I don't really find it that cold. And he does have a coat on, but he's not really dressed as appropriately. It's kind of weird that he's not cold.
But I'm from the south. It's hot. Wait, it's hot.
Everybody else at this point would definitely be finding it not the most comfortable of weather, for the record.
Yeah, perhaps we could pull body warmth, but I don't think that is a long-term solution. I don't want to abandon Dragar, but what are we supposed to do?
Kazmir says we should get to the temple. Maybe we'll find him along the way. The temple is what we set out here for. I'm sure Dragar, regardless, would want us to make it there.
Yes, perhaps there's a priest there that can revive him.
Yes, perhaps. And then he's like, wait, revive?
I mean, heal him.
And then he looks to the rest of the group and kind of like starts shimmying along up the path to seeing, like, watching your guys' reactions to see what you do.
I becomes a wolf. So
You become a wolf. Nice.
Yeah.
So the temperature becomes a little bit more bearable for you, definitely. As a wolf's body, fur and body.
runs around to generate heat.
Nice.
Through the snow.
What is Rion's output on the situation? Rion's on mute if he's trying to talk.
No, I just had a mouthful of cashews, so
Nice.
I didn't want to talk with my mouth full. Actually, Rion is going to cast Bear's Endurance on himself, or aka Enhance Ability, just choosing a Bear's Endurance, so that way he can weather the cold weather a little bit better.
Very nice.
But I'm going to turn to I believe he was a snow elf or gray elf. Right?
Dusk elf. They call themselves.
I get it eventually. I'm going to turn to him and say, how far away is the temple?
Well,
And if the storm is coming, like, shouldn't we try to go back down the mountain? Like, do you think we can make it to the temple within time?
well, we're
before
rather
the storm
far.
hits?
We're rather far up now. I think it would be kind of pointless to turn around. As for the actual temple's whereabouts, kind of like kicks the ground. To be honest, I've never been there. I've only heard story.
This wolf
gonna punch
head
him in
just
the face.
kind of looks around like, what?
But I'm sure it's there. Like, obviously, my peoples have been here for many generations. If they told me it was there,
I
it was
immediately
there.
punch him in the face. I'm being serious. I'm like, so I'm punching him in the face.
Punch to the face. Ow!
Do
What
you
was
want me
that?
to
For?
make-
What was that for?
Because you lied to us.
I never said I've been there. I just said I knew where it was.
Yes, you said that you knew and that you could take us there. Now you claim
I can take you
Nice.
there. We just follow the path. At the end of the path is the temple. Jeez, you don't have to be so rough.
All right, guys. I don't want to be that person, but let's get out of here before we're freeze to death. And you can see Dirge is like sitting on the horse, but maybe like laying on it almost, kind of like grabbing onto it for warmth.
So what's gonna be? He kind of puts himself, puts a person in between Rion and Kashmir. He kind of like maybe puts Ishmark or Dirge in between them, and it's just like, what are we gonna do? Are we going to turn around?
All right, let's go up the mountain. I would feel bad if we just left the mountain and abandoned Dragar.
All right. Up the mountain you guys go then. Now, several thousand feet up the mountain, wind whips across Dragar's bearded face. Ice crystals have started to pile up on this red beard. It looks more like a kind of snow-covered ice corpse now at this point, as you're just getting the worst of the weather as you have climbed up. You are basically engulfed in these dark clouds, and the snow is completely whiteout conditions. You don't even know how the bird really knows where it's flying. The first thing you're going to have to do is make me a quick con save, because it is ridiculously cold out for pretty much anybody, let alone a shirtless person. Luckily, you're able to keep yourself warm, maybe through the talons of this creature. As you look around, you only basically see a wall of white in every direction. You no longer know how far up you are. You don't know how close you are to the ground, whether you're near the top of the mountain. all you know is that snow is whipping across your face and your body, freezing you to eventually death if something doesn't happen, and the creature is just on a mission to fly somewhere.
Dragar would hope that his rage is keeping him a little warm as well too, because he's very he's still like in the midst of at least the middle of this battle with this bird as we're in the middle of the air. I think at this point I'm also wrapped up in his talons, right? So okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So in order to keep your rage even going, you're going to either need to be taking attacks at it or it attacking you.
Oh yeah, we were just going through the whole back and forth, I believe. So at least I think at this point Dragar would try to calm down a little bit. He would start figuring out that this thing's pretty huge. If he's going to try to do something, he needs to be aware that he could fall. He starts looking around. Obviously, it's whiteout conditions, so he can't see anything, and he knows he's cold. I think the first thing he would do is he would try to reach into his pack, and he would realize that the bird's probably still pissed too. He's this little tiny dwarf's been trying to throw hammers at it and stuff. So I think while Dragar is trying to reach into his bag and get his rope, actually, he would try to start singing like a song, or he would try to start using his Beastmaster sense or speak with beasts ritual. He would start that. He wouldn't know if it would work or not. Obviously, this thing's a gargantuan, massive thing, but he still feels as though it's got to be some kind of beast, or a beast would at least fit its summit. So he's trying to speak to it, and he starts singing. I don't know. I wrote a song, so I'm going to sing it. You're all going to have to put up with it. It's not very good. So Dragar would said, "A little birdie, don't you cry. No, yeah. You and Dragar are in the sky. Above the treetops and roads we fly, and Dragar is going to kill you." And he would try to grab his rope, and he would try to tie it around the leg of the bird. Just in case he did fall, he'd have a rope to be able to hold on to. And he knows that wouldn't be that much greater, but he'd be 50 feet closer to the ground anyway, right? So he would try to grab his rope as he was singing his song. And he would wrap it around the bird's leg and tie it off.
Absolutely. So you're definitely able to tie the rope around the kind of bird's talons pretty easily. And then I'm assuming you're tying it to yourself also. So there's like a fail safe if you do.
Yeah. I would like to tie it around my waist then possibly too, just in case. As I'm still preparing, I'm watching the bird, making sure that he's not trying to come at me. Mm-hmm. And I would ready an attack in case he did try to take another peck at me. But I think after that, I would just continue singing my song over and over, and just probably wait about 2 or 3 minutes just to try to get my head about me.
Absolutely. Do you want to try to make a check on the song to see if you can have any effect over the beast?
Yeah, what do you want?
Up to you. Just reason it. It could be animal handling. It could be performance.
Yeah, I'll probably go with animal handling. I mean, it makes the most sense. Nice. Nice. Okay, so I'm not sure if that's going to help, but a 21's at least a good start. That's a crit.
Natural 20. What's your roll?
I need some help right now, so roll 20s on my side.
I think you did rig it.
I'm knocking on what I did not. I did try.
So yeah, the bird definitely hears your song, and I guess for whatever reason, the ritual goes off, and you're able to communicate with this beast. Now, your song does tell you tell the bird that you're going to kill it right in the song, but nonetheless,
I'm singing in a calming voice, though. It's
nonetheless, it does kind of calm him down a bit, and the grip around you at first almost kind of suffocating kind of loosens up, and you're able to just kind of sit in its claws for now. It decided that it's not going to pop your head off in a squeeze, at least.
Okay.
And it starts flying up the mountain even further. You could only assume.
I have a feeling that the bird might know where it's going. I think at this point,
it seems like it's flying with a sense of purpose.
Okay, I think at this point, if it's not grabbing onto me, it's calming down. It knows that I'm calming down. I'm just going to continue singing my song, and I'm going to do my best to climb onto the back of this giant rock, very nonchalantly. I'm a small dwarf, so I'm going to just try to be like one feather branch at a time, one feather, and just try to see if I can calmly get to the top of the bird. I'm not trying to control the bird by any means or whatnot. I just want to get up to a better view.
Okay. Give me a quick dexterity check then, acrobatics.
Oh, fuck.
So the talons have loosened up enough for you to pretty much move around freely. You kind of scoot out and start climbing up this creature, and as you're just kind of cautiously doing so, you reach up and your hand actually goes into a gash that is cut into this beast, and the kind of blood, although starting to freeze up from the immense cold, is still quite slippery, and when you go to grab, you lose your handle and you start falling. Luckily, you have the rope kind of tied off to you already as a fall safe, and you do fall off, and you just kind of swing around in this wind, all hectic and just absolutely freezing. But nonetheless, you did tie it off, so you're still just kind of dangling there. You at least know that however long the rope is, you're at least that high from the ground.
I think at this point,
you're able to pull yourself up pretty easily at that point and get back in its talons. As you look up, you notice that this beast has several huge gashes out of it, and the one that you slipped on just seems to be one of many. You guys did do a decent number on this creature, you would assume.
Yeah, I would climb back up the rope. I think at that point I would realize how cold it was, and I'd realize the bird's just on a mission. So I think I would just kind of try to, I would try to crawl up and do the talon again and try to get as much warmth in a ball as I could and just wait it out and see where it was bringing.
Absolutely, and make me another con check.
Yeah, absolutely.
As at least an hour passes.
Oh, 11.
So that, unfortunately, is not quite enough. Although you try your best, it's quite cold. You take a point of exhaustion to make matters even worse.
All right. Fantastic.
Absolutely. And as an hour has passed now, we bring ourselves back over to the group trekking their way up this mountainside. You're literally on just this little path that is basically a shelf on the side of this mountaintop. As you look to your left where the mountain is, it's just black rock that almost vertically climbs upwards into darkness, this storm cloud that's now made its way down, and the weather is taken a dreadful turn for the worse. You're experiencing pretty much exactly what Dragar is going through right now, although you guys obviously don't know that. It's like the wind almost has you pinned against the side of this cliff. Snow just bristling or like whipping against you guys. It's like little pellets being shot at you. After a while, even the cold starts to sting, probably even Gaia a bit. I'm not really sure what Bear's Endurance does exactly, Rion, if you want to maybe post that or even just tell me in a couple seconds. But Dirge, only basically having armor and kind of her clothes on, is freezing absolute, turning blue at this point. You can make me a con save, everybody. Gaia can do it at advantage, and depending on Rion's Bear's Endurance, you might be able to do it at advantage also.
Well, if it's been an hour, Bear's Endurance is worn off.
Okay.
So.
Well,
Then, yeah.
for that hour you were going to get ready.
So then just make me add regular Constitution save. With the weather being as terrible as it is right now, you have to make at least a 12.
You know, I think he looked at your roll, Gaia, and then said it was a 12.
I honestly don't even know. When Gaia rolls, I don't know what the numbers are because I see... Oh, yeah, it's at advantage. Yeah, I didn't even look at it now. That's funny. It's 11. Oh, all three of you, really? That's
All of us failed.
A point of exhaustion as you start to understand how bad this weather truly is. And let's see if Ishmark makes it, because he's not too much better. He, for some reason, is able to do so. He has his hands kind of just wrapped around his arms and is just rubbing it fiercely. He manages to keep himself calm. And as you guys look over to Kashmir, he's just kind of walking nonchalantly. And it's probably at this point almost a little bit irritating because you guys are like on the brink of like hypothermia, and you just see Kashmir in not much more clothing than you guys, but completely fine. Nonetheless, though, as you look forward, you have maybe about 40 feet of vision before the wall of snow that's kind of been whipping against the side of this mountain takes away most of your vision. Behind you, very similar. If you look to the right, almost this maybe 25-foot kind of roadway you're on, directly 25 feet from you is the cliff's end, and as you look down, all you see is a wall of a white wall of mist. As you have really no way of telling how high up you are, although you assume walking for at least 2 hours now that you've made some. You're pretty high up, you'd assume.
Are we almost there? I don't want to be that kind of person who asks repeatedly, but pretty cold.
Yeah, this Kashmir looks to you. Yeah, this weather is kind of pestering, don't you think? Geez, I didn't think it'd be this bad. Are we almost there though? We should be there. Probably any minute now, or hour.
If it wasn't so cold, well, his face is probably red anyways, but you can tell that Rion is really trying to hold himself back from just tackling this elf and start beating his face in.
And you can also notice
he's
that
just frustrated at this guy.
Casimir is not oblivious to the anger, and he is definitely keeping as much people in between him and you as he can. So if you're at the back, he'd be at the front, and if you were to change, it would be vice versa. He senses your anger. He's not a complete idiot, although you question that probably at this moment. He knows enough to keep his distance from you. So, anybody else want to do anything? Obviously, the path is kind of pretty much only forward or back, but does anybody have any kind of ideas to contest this, or it's only you only assume that the weather's getting worse. It doesn't look like it's getting better.
Yeah, I mean, Dirge isn't walking in the snow. I don't know how much of a difference that makes, but
yeah, you're riding your steed, right?
Yeah, so at least she's not trudging through the snow.
Yeah,
I guess.
So you have that going for you. It's not so much the snow that's even really. It's the temperature at this point that is wearing you down. There's really the DMG for extreme weather doesn't really have like a cold. It's just exhaustion. So even though you're not technically exhausted from exertion, you're exhausted from the extreme cold.
Yeah. Guys like making use of the horses' footprints and whatnot, and
yeah,
you have
like
big barrier.
You have big mats of like ice crystal on your fur now as it's built up under your underbelly. It's like this kind of snow crystals are just dragging against the snow as you do so. But nonetheless, you guys trudge on. Still on. What is your horse name again? Is it Gypsy? I want to say
Gypsy.
Yes. Anybody else have any kind of ideas as you guys are walking through and Rion contemplates punching Kashmir again? A huge gust of wind blows against you guys.
I could become a fire elemental, but alas, I'm not.
That would be quite useful.
Yeah, I don't really have any spells that are good in the cold.
And for the record, the wind being as bad as it is, you're kind of what's the I forget the word I'm looking for, but I think it's heavily obscured. So as of like 30 or 40 feet beyond you, so vision is very minimal besides right in front of you. As you look forward, though, all you see is the path ahead of you. Onward and upwards. Casimir reassures everybody that we must be getting there soon. And if you were all to... Go ahead.
Oh, I'm going to be in the back and let him be in the front because he's supposed to be leading us.
Yeah.
As we're going along, I'm going to be using Mage Hand to like make snowballs and be collecting snowballs to get ready to throw at this guy.
Absolutely. Sounds good. So... even though he reassures you that you guys must be getting there soon, another hour goes by and another Constitution save comes up. This time, DC 13, as the weather is getting worse.
Ooh, I just stick with the one level of exhaustion. Take that, suckers. I found my stride. Oof.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend my inspiration that I supposedly have.
Good
And-
call.
Oh no!
Oh,
Really?
feels
Roll
bad.
20.
Double 7 for Rion.
So,
Oh.
what does? Oh, I got the DMG or not DMG. I got the.
How do I change this macro? It always rolls 2 dice when I do it.
You gotta go to your character sheet, and there's a gear right next to spells.
Yeah.
Click on that.
Oh, there it is.
And
Always
on the
roll
right side.
advantage. Okay, I
Yep.
see.
Yep.
Just there we go. Advantage toggle. Yes.
And let's see if Ishmark does as well this time. He fared pretty well the first time. Ishmark takes a point of exhaustion too. As you now see, his long, kind of wavy brown hair has also matted with snow, and it's kind of just like stuck to his face. This wet, snowy, iced hair. Luckily, though, after about an hour and a half passes, you guys notice that this shelf of rock on which this mountain road clings to, it starts to grow a bit narrower, and you probably start to use a bit more caution. To your left, like I said, is just straight up icy cliff. To your right, obviously a descent into a sea of fog. Only you can speculate how deep. But ahead, through this wind and snow that is just relentlessly pounding into you guys, you see a high wall of black stone. It's lined with spikes, and topped on top of this kind of wall are statuettes of what maybe look kind of like vultures, but bigger and a little bit almost humanoid. It's hard to tell from how far it is and how bad the weather is, but you can kind of make out the outline of it. They have what seems like horned heads. Set in the center of this wall is a closed iron portcullis, behind which burns a curtain of what looks like green flame. On the other side of the dark wall, gripping the mountain's edge, you see a tower has been built behind this wall. White snow tops it, and you see golden statues of what looks like warriors. And I will pull you to the map that we have. This map is going to be probably massive because I had to scale it appropriately. It also is probably going to be... Oh, let me make sure I don't bring you to the wrong one. That'd be awkward. I almost did. And awkward moment when it didn't work. Well, bam. So you guys probably see a bunch of black, right? So I'm going to pull you on over to what you actually walk up to and see, which is that... Did it pull you? Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
And then I'm going to zoom in and actually show you where on the path you guys all are.
That's the side view.
That's the side view. So basically what you see as you head up to it. And I'll drag and drop all your characters on there. Like I said, this is going to be quite a large map, but nonetheless... Oh, Dragar's not there. Just kidding. And you guys are basically around there as you come up to it and start to finally make it out. Kashmir in the front, he points and says, I think we're somewhere. Something's here."
Okay, at that point, when he finishes that comment, a snowball's going to go flying at him.
All right, make a quick attack roll against him.
Okay. But the green flame, like how far away is it from...
So if you actually
or
look at the
inside
map, if you actually look at the map, you can basically see that you guys, Kashmir being in the front, is roughly 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, about 40 feet away. And inside the very first kind of entrance, there's a portcullis. And then basically on the opposite side of the wall, where the exit portcullis should be, there's a green curtain of flame. If that makes sense.
Okay.
All right, guys. I don't want to rush, but we should get going, guys.
Oops, I backed out. Yes, perhaps the flame. Maybe it'll bring some warmth to you. You all look rather cold. I apologize. I didn't realize that it would be this bad for you guys. And Kashmir kind of just starts walking up unless anybody is going to stop him.
Dirge would be all about him walking up.
All right. As you do so, you get right up to this wall, and you can see that it's lined with these black kind of giant stone bricks that make up most of it. As you look to the top, you do see what looks like demonic vultures for gargoyles sitting at each end of this tower, almost looking down at you menacingly as you approach this portcullis. You also notice that lined all across the wall are these kind of iron, snowy ice picks that are basically side by side. Basically what you'd assume stopping anybody for climbing over it. As you get to about 10 feet away from the portcullis, you notice that it actually kind of almost opens on its own accord as you approach it.
Is this map to scale, Chris?
Yeah, we'll say it is. Unless for some reason I contradict myself, but as for now, yeah, I don't see any wrong with it being to scale.
Okay. But since the door is opening, that changes everything. Vrion's going to move up for the flame. Like, he's not going to try to pass through it or anything. Like, he's going to try to, get some warmth from this flame.
And as you freezing poor souls run up to this snow kind of tattered to all your clothes now, sticking to you all, you run up to this this fire like an eager kind of person waiting to get warmed up. You're rubbing your hands and you get right up to it, and something awkward happens as you realize that you feel no warmth from this flame, and probably your hopes and dreams are crushed as for whatever reason it's not producing any kind of natural heat.
Can you fix Gaia?
Did Gaia? Oh, she can't move Gaia?
Supposedly she doesn't have. Yeah, she doesn't have control of Gaia.
Why?
You need to update her token and then save the token.
Yeah, I literally do that every time. I'm not sure this time. I'll make sure I do it again, but I'm sure next session we will.
I think it might be a matter of after you save the token.
Yeah, you remove it and then redo it. I've had this issue before, but I've been able to fix it usually. But we'll try again, and hopefully next session it'll stop doing that.
Okay, I'm going to kind of back off.
Nonetheless, getting inside of this tower, you at least get away from the wind, so you at least have that going for you. You feel a bit more warmed up, although obviously nowhere near warm. You're no longer being assaulted by this immense wind and snow.
Yeah, Dirge would kind of look to her allies. We could start a flame inside here, I suppose, or we could go check out the other tower.
Kashmir walks up to it and says, "Oh, that's awkward. This isn't hot, is it now?"
I'm gonna use Mage Hand and like stick the hand through the flame to see if it like parts it or anything like that. To maybe we could see through it or just see what happens to the flame.
Now, Mage Hand, does it have like a? Does it have an HP or anything?
No, just a hand.
Okay. Yeah, it would just the hand itself would kind of go through it. It doesn't part it though by any means, because it's. Okay. I'm imagining it's not. What's the word I'm looking for?
It's non-corporeal. It's like there's nothing there.
Thank you, Dan.
Kashmir, is this the temple or is this something else?
I think this is just. What's the name of it? He's trying to recall. Selenka Pass, I believe. I remember my father talking about it. It's kind of a bridge that links over a cavern or a deep crevasse But he did tell us that this pass was a long time ago, before the Amber Temple kind of fell off the face of the planet. They had guards here that would stop anyone that shouldn't from getting to the Amber Temple. I think that this is this kind of gatehouse or passway.
And Dirge would be shaking pretty bad at this point.
The good news is we must be close.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to keep going outside. I might freeze to death at this rate, especially with and no offense, your judge of distance and time.
Yeah, it always sounds so much closer when my grandfather talked about it. Who would have thought that a mountain can be so large?
Yes, who could have thought? Can we rest here?
He would look to the rest of the group. It does seem like it's getting late as you look outside. It does seem like evening. You've presumably hit around evening time, although it's much darker than that because of the storm. It does seem like any bits of what you get for daylight in Barovia do seem to be fading.
Well, wouldn't it be better for us to move into the tower than to stay here?
Yes, unless there's a bunch of guards in there that want to kill us.
He would ask. He would look and say that at least it's out of the wind. And then he would say, "What do you make of this flame?" And as he points to it, you guys realize that it's basically to get to this tower, you would need to walk through the flame. I'll draw a line on the map if not everybody's understanding, but the line is literally do that. Basically blocking your exit. That's terrible, but that's what. No.
I don't know what the flame is. Perhaps it's a signal flame, some sort of magic alarm. I can get past it, but I don't know about the rest of you. I can just teleport past it.
My fur will save
Don't
me.
you need to see to teleport across?
You can see through the flame. It's just basically like
okay.
this curtain of flame that's kind of see-through, but obviously it's like a flame, so you can see through it. But instead of being red and orange, it's just green and kind of has light, almost white tips to it.
At this point, Rion's mind isn't the best at this point, and he's just like, I don't care, and he walks through it.
Okay.
And he's basically walking towards the tower. So what horrible roll do you want me to make?
Oh. There is no roll, actually, luckily for you. But just kidding, it's not lucky for you at all. You walk through it, and instantly your skin has this excruciating pain that you've probably never felt before in your entire life. You look down and almost kind of acidic blisters start to form on you. You can't stop yourself but yell out in pain as you literally feel like your skin's being eaten alive. You are able to push through maybe the fire. Your clothes kind of burning away, the snow instantly disintegrating, and some of your flesh also doing so as you take 36 points of damage.
Mm.
Do you actually
I'm
make
dead.
it through, or do you fall down and die?
No, I'm dead.
All right. So,
Or I'm in the down state.
all right. So
Actually, aren't we doing the mass damage thing or something like that?
the massive damage? No, I don't think so. I think
Yeah. If
lingering injuries. You
Okay.
mean, or I can't even remember.
no,
Sorry.
the massive.
Oh, yeah, we could.
I don't even know what those.
Yeah, no. Oh, yes.
what that
Sorry,
ruling
you're fine.
is
I
for
know what you're talking about now. You're fine. When you're down, you don't need to do the massive damage because that's all that happens. Now, were you like running towards it, or were you kind of walking? Because if you were walking, you probably would have maybe not made it through. But if you ran, you would probably burst through and land on the other side.
Well, I think honestly, like if anybody is sensible, like once they start to feel pain, they wouldn't try to go through
Yeah,
this. But if I did say I was walking through it, so
no, that's fine. You
I
said walking, so
walked
I don't
through
think. I think that you would like walk into it and instantly feel this terrible pain, and probably at the last second before fading unconsciousness from this fall backwards. All anyone sees is you scream out in a terrible pain. They look at your flesh, and it seems like it's been some parts boiled way down to the bone. Black skin and fried bone exposed. You fall back unconscious.
Yeah, Dirge would catch his unconscious body and drag it back into one of these guard towers. And she would be extremely concerned that he's dead. She would say, please just get up. And she would lay on hands on him, attempting to heal his wounds.
And you're able to do so.
She'll spend 10 points just to get you conscious.
You wake up in consciousness, and although she's magically healed some of your pains, obviously the burns have not all subsided, and you probably instantly yell out in pain again as you realize how poor of a decision that might have been. What are you doing, Rion?
I think you should rest.
At the moment, I'm not doing anything other than trying to cure myself.
Yeah. So Ishmark says that it's getting late. We're all tired. We're all cold. This is a problem that I don't see any immediate solution to. Should we maybe stay here and rest? We all need it.
Yes.
The first thing I'm going to try, though, like, if we're going to rest, I'm going to try to cast Dispel Magic on this flaming wall.
Absolutely.
And see what happens.
Give me a...
Here, I'll just click it.
Yeah, is it
You gotta roll a d20 and then add your caster mod.
He does, right? Yeah, so
assuming it's above level 3.
Yeah, you have to go ahead and do that, what he just said. Add your modifier to it. You're looking... Okay. Actually, we'll see what happens.
I mean, considering it did 1 million damage to you, I'm sure it's above level 3. It's like you stepped into a wall of flame, basically. Except it's not hot, so it's even worse.
You coming back to consciousness, maybe anger kind of feels you at this point as you're frustrated and cold and you want to get to some warmth. You channel this Dispel Magic spell, and to everyone's surprise, the curtain of green flame dispersed and is gone.
That was incredible. I didn't think you could dispel it. Are we going into the tower? If we are, perhaps I should heal you a bit.
To the tower it is, or what are we doing? I'm assuming the tower is where you guys want to
go. Start plowing ahead.
All right, so you make your way, and snow has kind of piled up now, almost knee-high, as you kind of trudge through up to this tower door. It's made of iron wood, or iron-bound wood, and barred from within, or not, sorry, barred on the outside. There's a lever that's kind of pushed over. As you go to push it up and kind of push in the door, a big gust of snow kind of pulls in, and snow kind of falls down towards your foot and piles in towards this guard tower that you've made your way in. But several thousand feet higher in the air, we come back to Dragar, who has been trying to probably stay conscious at this point, questioning if of all the ways he's going to die.
Yeah, Dragar's kind of freaking out at this point. He doesn't know what's going on.
Freeze to death. Yeah, absolutely. And we're borderline getting towards that area where you would probably need to make another save, but luckily for you, you notice that the bird kind of does a sharp descent.
Oh, it's go time. Okay.
And its flight pattern changes. It seems like it's heading down, although down to where or down to what, you do not know.
Can I see anything?
Give me a perception check at disadvantage.
Oh, great.
Unless you have snow vision.
Damn it. This is 7.
7. You see a bunch of white snow hitting you in the face. Your beard now is literally like a giant icicle.
But I know we're going down.
You get the feeling, yeah. Gravity kind of, you get that kind of force or sensation of almost like a roller coaster or something. Your stomach starts to, yeah, you feel like you're going down.
All right. Yeah, and I'm cold. I'm freaking out. I don't know what this bird's going. I know that I was told that I had to defeat the beast of the mountain, and we were just in this massive battle. I know this thing's hurt, and I want this hammer, this bone breaker that I have in my hand.
Just gonna hang out for the ride, or any kind of crazy plans?
I'm thinking crazy plans. No, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait a few moments, but I'm gonna ready a flask of oil and the flint from my square pack.
Okay. The bird flies down at a very almost frightening speed as it just descends into what you can only imagine.
As soon as I can visualize anything, like the ground or what's going on or like anything, then I'm going to I'm with the readied stuff. So as soon as I can see something, I'm gonna create another action.
So the first thing you see, kind of abruptly, almost popping up within about 30 feet away before you can see it, is a cliffside, and it's not below you. As you look down, you're basically on what seems like a peak of the mountain.
Oh, hold on, that's right.
And you don't see anything down, but towards like basically your right, you see a cliffside. It's very steep and icy at this point, but the beast seems like it's heading right towards that pretty fast. And if you're going to do something, you're going to have to do it quick. It almost seems like it's going to slam right into the wall at the speed it's going at.
I would probably. God, I really want to. And can I see the ground below us, or do I just?
You cannot see anything below you, just the cliffside to your right, which it seems like it's going to fly into.
Is there any openings on the cliffside? Can I perceive any form of like where
Do
it might be heading?
a perception check again. Again, at disadvantage, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Just trying to see where it might be bringing me. 5. Damn it.
Natural 1. All you can think about is the speed that this beast is moving at, that it is going to slam both you and it right into the side of this cliff.
Yeah, all right. I would check the rope around my waist, and I would remember this great battle, and I would hold up this this beautiful warhammer bone breaker, and then I would put bone breaker on my waist and tuck it into my belt so that it was sturdy with my other warhammer, and I would take out the silver longsword, and I would throw the oil bottle up into the bird's feathers and click the flint, and try to light the fire or the oil on fire. As if I can, as I was trying to climb up the bird. That's what I would want to do.
All right, so that is at least a couple checks, to say the least.
Yeah, I understand.
But let's first put a either beginning or end to this right off the bat and do a dex acrobatics to see if you can climb up this beast. Or are you throwing it first?
If that's not a disadvantage, it's a 21.
21. You do start to climb up, and I'm just trying to understand. Are you?
Okay, so if I'm climbing up, I would smash the oil against the feathers of the bird.
Okay, as you're climbing.
Yeah.
All right. It doesn't seem like it likes that by any means. It seems a bit agitated as you start to do that. At any moment, that kind of calming lullaby that you've been singing to it, and maybe even yourself, to keep some bit of sanity. Its calmness is quickly dispersing as you start slamming oil into it, and oil starts seeping into the gashes that you guys have made across it. It lets out a call of pain that echoes across the mountainside.
Dragar would smile, and he would throw his flint to his left hand, or he would hand his flint to his left hand, and he would click where he did the oil, and he would try to climb up to the right so that he wasn't actually climbing on top of the fire, but he wants to get on top of the bird, to the back of the bird. And hold this silver sword in his hand for now, because I'm sure there's still a couple more checks before I can do anything else.
Absolutely. So I'm trying to reason what the rest would be. As you get right to its back, it immediately starts to rear up and start at this point maybe trying to change its course of direction, do anything. It senses that you're up to no good. Give me a strength check to see if you get whipped right off. This, unfortunately, 21. Is going to be contested against the beast, as at this point it's aggravated at you.
I'm not doing a strength chest to get a rock. What are you talking about? I'm just hanging out. Just hanging out.
Rolls a. Oh my god!
Oh, you beat it.
That is incredible.
Did I really beat it?
You did beat it. Just barely. It rears up and tries to knock you off, but being a bit exhausted from the fight, you dig your kind of hands into the back of this bird, and you hang on for dear life. Oil is now kind of all in a trail.
It's happening.
Slathered around this beast. So are you going to light the oil at this point, or wait to see what happens?
Oh, no, I'm lighting the oil.
All right. What check can I make you do for that? I'm trying to think.
Light and oil.
Yeah, against the snow, just to see if it works, because it is like hella. I guess whatever. It goes off. The bird flame whips up on this creature's back. It lets out a screech of immense pain.
Dragar happy.
It rings through your your ears, and your ears start to ring from the noise. It almost like ruptures your eardrums for how loud this beast let out a roar of pain. You kind of have that ringing that you would get after you hear an explosion, as you see flames just emanate from where you just let the flint down, and it whips across this beast and burns away flesh and feather all the way down to where its talons is. The creature at this point loses complete control, kind of not being able to focus on the fire and effectively landing, and you and it both slam into the cliff, but not against the wall. You actually find that you slam into this giant kind of almost cavern that presumably the beast was flying towards. You both tumble in and roll. Give me a quick dex save as it lands first, but there's no way that you can even hold on from the kind of force of this beast crashing, and you're thrown in front of it, and the last thing you see is a flaming gargantuan bird start tumbling towards you and it. You're definitely going to take some damage along with it.
Can I rage at any point? I'm raging.
Sure, rage.
I'm raging.
Rage out.
All right, I'm rolling, but I'm raging. Who knows? I'm raged. I'm enraged.
You take all of the damages.
A measly. I forgot to do the modifier. That's 16 damage as this thing slams into you and kind of tumbles over you. It rolls basically right over top of you, leaving you on the back side of it. As you look around, kind of in the chaos, and this beast looking to get up, and it's squawking and squealing in pain, trying to put out the feather by slamming itself into the cliff more, or this cavern even more. You look around and basically just see darkness. You have dark vision, though, right?
Yep.
You do notice that you're in a very large kind of hole in the cave. Presumably this thing's a beast, and as you look around, all you see is dark kind of snowy cave walls, stalactites above you, and stalagmites kind of proportioned around the cavern. Give me a quick perception check.
Okay. Nice.
All right. You notice that besides just these stalagmites and rock surfaces, you see a bunch of bones that have been eaten away, corpses, animals, people, all kinds of things, just piles upon piles of these dead skeletal bodies. You also notice that on the complete opposite side of you, and on the rock in between you and this gigantic nest, it seems like. What seems like maybe whole trees almost used as kind of a nest. It's about 100 feet away from you. And in between you and it is this bird. And as you kind of collect yourself and you're looking around, getting your surroundings, picking yourself up after this beast has rolled over top of you, the flame on it is extinguished almost immediately, although it did effectively get you on the ground. It's a little flame in comparison to the size of this beast.
Didn't take any damage from it?
It did take damage from it, yes.
Sweet.
It stands up, though, and it looks at you in a tremendous amount of anger, almost a bit of betrayal in its eyes, you sense. And roll initiative, Drakkar.
You got it, man. Let's do this thing. Where's my token? Oh, fucker.
Oh, yeah. I'll give you a token. Sorry.
This is
Just for the purpose of initiative, I'm just going to drag you on the map. But obviously, you're not with the group. You're far from it. There you are. And then there's your good friend, Mr. Rock. Never mind. He doesn't have a token. I'll just roll its initiative. OG style.
Why does the map keep fucking moving?
Oh my god. I rolled this Rion? That's weird. Apparently I was clicked on Rion.
I can't get to my token, man. My map's fucked up. Hold on.
You rolled the rock.
Yeah.
But I think you had my token clicked.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
did.
why.
Rion is fighting Dragar secretly.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna roll initiative, man. You want to put me in there? For some reason, my map won't let me get to your map. Like my screen won't let me get to the map. I just got a 6.
What's your modifier?
For what initiative?
For dexterity.
1.
It rolled it. It's in the chat.
Gotcha.
You having a 6 initiative.
Oh yeah.
I see it.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, that's correct.
I just can't get to my token. I'm sorry.
That's no worries. Dragar 6, although a bit slow, is still faster than the rock itself, and you're able to strike first.
Dragar
Hey,
stands.
let me slam you in the side of the mountain and see if you move very quickly.
Dragar stands after being rolled over by this gigantic flaming bird and just kind of stands up, and he's got this giant grin on his face as he raises his arms up in the air. In one hand, he's got his giant sword, and the other hand, he's got his warhammer, and he just kind of laughs at the bird, and he throws his warhammer into his belt, and you can see his tattoos just glowing, and they're starting to glow bright yellow, and he races towards the bird as fast as he can, reaches down to his belt, whips a warhammer on the way.
All right, whip that warhammer.
Wow. Okay, that's a -1. That's a natural 1.
You whip it at your foot. You realize how cold you actually are, and like a crippled old man, you go to it, and as you're running towards it, you throw, and your arm cramps up, and you literally throw the hammer in between your feet. Make a quick dexterity save to see if you don't trip over it. Pretty easy DC though. I'm not gonna.
Oh, that's a natural 1 too.
You fall flat on your face.
The battle's not starting off wonderfully.
You fall flat on your face.
Do I have enough movement to get up and continue moving towards it?
You have enough movement to get up, but that is it after 2 ones. I feel like that's the only thing I can do to you.
Yeah, how far away?
You can ready your action. You're about maybe 40 feet away from it.
I'm gonna recklessly attack. No, I can't. I'm just gonna whip another warhammer. Then I have another warhammer to whip. I'm gonna whip another one if I can. Are you gonna let me do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, sweet. I wouldn't, but thanks.
I told you you're gonna roll a lot of 1s today and a 9. You pick yourself up. You shake yourself off. Snow kind of drips off your beard as it's now melting from the rage almost. Your body heat is kind of elevated. You pull out another hammer, determined to strike this beast down after your kind of epic show off or face stare down with it and charging into battle. You're trying to redeem yourself in some way, and you throw this hammer, and it just goes completely somehow, even though this creature is gigantuan in size, right over its head. And it does not hit this enormous beast.
That is the end of my turn.
All right. It looks at you with rage. It looks at its feathers, where you burnt. Blood kind of drips to the floor from the attacks that you guys have already done to it. It lets out a horrendous squawk of anger, literally rippling your beard from like the sound wave that it is creating, and it lunges forward and goes to attack you with its talon. GG Dragar.
That 32 is that what it is? Is 32?
Yep.
That's a hit.
All right, so you're hit.
Uh-huh.
And take 19 slashing damage.
Okay.
As you are instantly grappled in this creature's talons once again, something that you're starting to call yourself home, starting to call your place home, this creature's talons. And then at this point, it goes and slams you into the ground. Oh my god. Somehow missing that. It slams into the ground, but you position yourself in its talons in a way that you don't take any damage, and it literally breaks part of the kind of stone wall or stone floor. But nonetheless, you position yourself. Maybe it's the familiarity of the talons. You've basically found a way to position yourself and not take any damage. You're slammed into the ground. Stone kind of breaks forth, and You managed to not take any damage from that. That's incredible. You're back up, but you're now grappled in this creature's talons.
All right, I'm going to take my my longsword, and I'm going to try to stab it into the bird's talons so that it releases me and takes damage all at the same time.
All right.
Fuck.
Oh my god.
I'm going to try it again because I have 2 attacks. Oh, shit.
15 is your target mark, so you manage to slip it. You're trying to hit at it, and at first it's really awkward because you're kind of grasped in its talons, and you can't really position yourself in a way, so the first attack glances off, but then you grab your sword, kind of underhanding it, and stab it right into this beast's claws. You puncture through its almost bony talons right into the kind of fleshy bits of this creature and slash across it for 11 damage. The creature howls out in pain once more as it takes that. Is that it for your turn? You didn't try to break out. It definitely does not grab you by any or let go of you by any means. It almost grabs tighter as you do this, kind of like a reaction or a reflex from having a knife plunged into its claws. It almost grips you even tighter.
Can I use my movement as a strength check to see if I can be ungrappled?
It takes an action to try to get out.
Then yeah, that would be the end of my turn.
All right. It is going to, again, try to slam you into the ground. This time, 31 to hit. It obviously does so.
That just makes it, to be honest.
Just barely. Your AC is actually 30.
Yeah.
You take...
I'm frozen solid, so I'm just like a big ball of rice.
Yeah. Half of 29 bludgeoning damage.
Wow. That's a big one.
How's Dragar looking?
That's a big one. Dragar is standing. He's very, very bloody.
The creature lets go of you as it slams you at this point, and
That's nice.
It goes to do its final attack. You presume as its beak starts to slam down on you, ripping rest in pieces. 27, obviously a hit.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens for damage.
Okay.
Half of 27.
Dragar is down. Just down. Just a little bit, but he's down.
You fall unconscious. The last thing you see is this beast towering above you, its giant yellow beak slamming right into your gut, pinning you against the ground. You're looking at it as you feel its beak puncture through your kind of stomach, and the last thing you see is this
Dragar screams, "No!"
Raging eyes as it looks at you and finishes you off. You fade out of consciousness. Now, over to everybody hanging out at the gate.
Dick. Just kidding. That was awesome.
In the dark.
Yeah, I know we didn't say this verbally, but after Dirge heals Rion, she also will cast Cure Wounds on him twice.
Absolutely, that's fine.
Trying to heal his wounds as best she can. She's not used to healing, I don't know, what are these, like acid burns, basically?
Yeah. So as you push through this iron or wooden iron door, cold hearth stands across from the door which you open. The wind howls in. It actually comes down from the chimney itself, even at the top of this tower. You see a stone staircase on the south wall. 3 windows look out over into the foggy sea. What's everybody doing? So you come in, you see what looks like a hearth on the opposite side of the wall from you guys, and a staircase right behind you all.
Well, when I wasn't muted, Guy goes in. She's going to transform back because she's probably at the max of her transition thing, and she'll be like, "Well, I suppose we should look at Guy and get a sparks going because at least there'll be something." But let's see if we can find anything to burn.
Yes, maybe there's something warm in here.
All right, so
She'll like cut the door too to kind of help make sure that the cold wind's not continuing blowing. other than from
Kashmir says to you guys that if you have anything that can be lit, I can do a simple cantrip and light a fire, but I need firewood or something.
I'm gonna grab Ishmar, and we're gonna start heading up the stairs. And basically, like, I'm gonna have my shield out. Does he have a shield, or is it what?
He has.
I think he has a sword and shield, right?
No, he uses 2 long swords.
Oh, okay. But have his weapons at the ready, and we're gonna, check upstairs and maybe grab any fuel for the fire or anything like that.
All right. So as you head upstairs, the upper level of this tower feels like an ice box. The windows, there's windows set in almost every wall. There's a rusted iron ladder bolted to the floor and the ceiling that leads up to what seems like a wooden trapdoor. You hear the wind kind of howling and ricketing this wooden door, as it seems like that's where the source of the wind is coming from. That kind of is barreling down on top of you guys. Mounted above another stone hearth that is positioned in this wall, or on the south wall again, is a dire wolf's head. The wind coming down from the chimney howls, almost kind of emanating the sound that the wolf would make, and it catches you off guard as you walk up. You see its head and hear the howling, and at first think that maybe there's a wolf in the tower, but realize it's just the wind. And Ishmark and Rion move over here.
Can you ping that so I can see? Okay. So is there nothing else up here then?
Pretty much empty, besides the rusty ladder in the center going up towards the trapdoor. It seems like this is a pretty empty place.
Go over to the wolf's head and pull it off the wall, because I'm assuming that the head is attached to a piece of wood.
Yes.
That's attached to the wall, or is it? Yep. And then I'm going to take that off and throw it downstairs.
Okay. Wolf head comes barreling down the staircases and lands right in front of, we'll say, Dirge. You just see these kind of a snarling, almost looking like it's about to bite down wolf come tumbling down the stairs, only a head, and then land at your feet. Yeah,
Dirge would be scared normally, but she's so cold that when she looks at this wolf head, she wonders if it's like natural wolf's head, and kind of touches it to see if it's like wolf fur.
It does feel authentic. Yes, definitely.
Right, this is better than nothing, and she pulls off the wolf head and just sees if it's like a mask almost.
It is hollowed out.
All right. She would awkwardly wear it as a hat.
Nice.
You know, I once knew a girl who had a big wolf head as well. She was very feral, but very good with us.
I know this is a little bit awkward to ask, Gaia. Can you shapeshift a second time today?
Oh, absolutely. But
perhaps you could change into something a bit cuddlier and warmer, like a bear.
I was gonna say like a bear. Oh, sure. Yes, you look terribly cold. But let's see if we can get this fire going so that you and Zatos can get warmed up, and yes, definitely huddle up tonight. See if we can. Rest.
Ishmael kicks at the kind of wooden plank that is tearing off from the wolf head and says it's not much, but it'll start a fire. I don't know how long it will last. And if I said Ishmark, I meant Kashmir. Ishmark looks at you, though, Rion, as you're on the second level of this tower, and says, do you want to go up? Do you think it's a point? It clearly leads outside.
Yes, but there might be a box or something that we may be able to bring in and hopefully dry it out.
All right.
And have more wood.
Who's going up first?
But before, I want to look at the ladder and make sure that it can hold one of our weights.
Oh yeah, it looks. You grab it and you shake it, and it's pretty sturdy. It doesn't even move from the shake. It is bolted into the ground and ceiling.
Well, you did say rusted, so I didn't know
absolutely
how bad. So, then I'm gonna crawl up and open the trapdoor, but not fully because I don't want like a whole blast of wind to come down, I'm just gonna open it enough to where I could see. If I could see any wood, then I'm gonna go up further. But if I can't, then I'm just gonna shut it and come back down.
So yeah, even though you're trying to like creak it open and not get blasted in the face, the first thing that happens once you creak it open is a blast of snow directly in the face. The wind is very almost even more enraged at this point, and you brush the snow off your face, and you look out, and what you see is a heavily armored, what seems like soldier, and it's wielding two weapons, and you can make it out about maybe 10 feet away, and it just seems to be staring at you in anger, and it's posed in like a position looking like it's ready to strike at any second.
Yeah, Rion's gonna go nope and close the trapdoor and stick his short sword in it to where I'm guessing there's like a what is it called? A knocker, I guess. It's it's a ring attached to, and that's how you open and close. Like I'm gonna stick my short sword through that, so that way he can't open the door unless by great strength or whatever, because it's your character and I don't know what secrets you have.
Yeah, you're easily able to close it, or that's what you're trying to do, right? Just close it.
Well, close it and slide the sword through it so he can't open it. Basically.
Yeah, sorry, I got lost track trying to read ahead, but yeah, you're easily able to do that. And as you quickly do so, you slide the sword into the iron kind of knocker, and then you just anxiously wait there because that form that you've seen looked like it was ready to strike at any second, and you just look up and wait. Ishmael's like, "What the hell's going on?" He whispers. And if you were to
come back down,
you come back down,
pull out a hand crossbow and point it at that and be like, there is an iron something up there.
And he's standing ready, and you guys just kind of awkwardly wait, and nothing happens. You just kind of look, and no sound, no footsteps or anything. Although the wall, the ground was thick stone, so you don't really know that you'd hear footsteps, but it doesn't seem like it's trying to get in.
Ishmar, do you want me to go down and tell the others, or do you want to go down and tell the others? But either way, one of us should stay here and watch that trapdoor. I don't think he's going to come down because it's freezing out there, and why he's outside of the tower, I'm not sure, but we still should, keep a watch.
And he shrugs and says, "I can go tell him if you wish, or you. Does not matter to me. I don't mind standing here. Just be quick if you do go."
Yeah, you go ahead and go. I have ranged weapons. I can hopefully make it down the stairs.
So you hear
I have to in a rush.
You hear the footsteps of Ishmael coming down the stone staircase that he ascended up with Rion, and he looks to you, Dirge, and says, he kind of whispers, "Rion, he said he's seen something on outside on the top of the tower. A man or something dressed in iron, ready to attack."
And Dirge would be shaking, still pretty bad at this point, and she would say, "Well, I don't think it's a man, because he'd be dead at this point if he's hanging out up there."
"What do you want me to tell him?"
"Did he see it move? Did it?"
He walks back up the stairs, kind of this awkward messenger. "Rion, did you see it move?"
No, but it was glaring.
And
well, let me finish. Don't run away.
Okay, he goes to walk down the stairs, and then pokes his head back up.
I didn't see it move, but it was glaring at the trapdoor like it was ready to strike. So I'm not sure.
He said it was glaring at him.
So you saw a scary statue? Maybe it's a scary statue, Rion.
Walks back up. Thinks it's a scary statue.
You know what? Tell him to get her ass up here and take a look for herself so she can determine instead of this. I'm pretty sure your legs are tired by now from walking up and down the stairs.
He sighs and like a kid, kind of just frustrated and throwing a temper tantrum, thumps down the stairs and says, "Rion says that you should go up there and check it yourself if you think it's a statue. I'm done with this."
Guy would put a hand on Dirge and just be like, "I warm up. I'll go take a look," and Guy will go upstairs and take a look.
All right. Dirge would follow behind you, kind of limping as she does so.
Okay.
All right, so you guys get to the where Rion is. He relays what he's seen again. Does anyone wish to go up and?
I'll stand right next to Gaia, and if it attacks her, I'll protect her.
Gaia's gonna peek.
Oh yeah.
Do you fully push open the door or just try to peek?
I shall try to peek.
All right, so you peek and instantly you see the exact same thing. An iron armored figure holding what seems like maybe a lance or something, menacingly looking like it's about to attack.
Sure, door and be like, so you think our elven friend besides his cantrips know how to like magically lock a door? Because perhaps we lock a door and if we deal with this statue person thing, then we are arrested.
Casimir has actually come up the stairs, also curious, right behind you. And as he hears you say that, says, I don't have anything to lock. Sorry. The sword looked like it was working fine, though.
Well, yeah, I say barricaded. Maybe be polite and knock or something. But if we are downstairs, we hear him burst opens the door, and we keep one person guard.
Yes, I have the perfect guard for this. And as she says that, Gypsy like awkwardly walks up the stairs. This horse clearly is not designed for walking upstairs, but after a few awkward minutes, this horse manages to get up the stairs and just kind of stares at this hatch and just stands there silently. If anything comes or makes any noise, Gypsy can tell me.
That is smart. Okay.
Gypsy has more patience than anyone I've ever seen.
With that, Casimir would say that is all great, but we still have not acquired much wood for a fire. The plank that you threw down will last maybe an hour tops.
Well, if we have to, we can burn your clothes.
Says, I don't think that would make much of a difference. He says maybe if someone goes ahead a little further up the path, we'll find some kind of tree or something, plant life.
It sounds like you just volunteered.
It sounds like one of us is immune to cold here.
Oh goodness. Never mind. Guy's not talking at the moment.
And he says, well, I'd prefer not to go alone. You see, I'm not the most adept of fighters. If something does attack me, don't think I could hold it off on my own. I'm more than happy to go out for you, though, and if someone would come with me.
At this point, Dirge would look really reluctant to do so, but she would offer if nobody else wanted to.
What if I make you invisible? Would that make you happy?
He says, I could do that myself, but the snow, it would see my tracks. As he reveals that he can at least make himself invisible. And he says, no one, and then looks towards Dirge. Just like, no one will come out with me?
Okay. I'll head out. We'll be back within an hour.
All right. So, give me a quick survival, really quick, both of you.
Wait, one real quick. You said somebody had cold weather outfit, right?
Yeah, Casimir is kind of wearing what seems like at least a fur jacket. He would actually offer it to you since you seem presumably colder than him, and he seems rather fine.
Yeah, she would take the cold weather outfit so she doesn't die.
Yeah.
You want survival? She's actually good at survival. So.
Yep. As you guys head out into the weather, it's quite apparent now that it's becoming really close to nighttime.
So it's only going to get colder. That's cool.
Absolutely.
I think Dirge wants to roll with advantage on that.
Okay.
Fucking bitch. Are you serious?
2 10s. As luckily for you, it doesn't take very much resourcefulness or survival abilities, because as you start making your way across this narrow path, the first thing you come up to, you notice is what seems like a snowy pass that comes to span a gorge, or comes to a gorge spanned by a stone bridge. At each end of the bridge is a 30-foot tall, 30-foot wide stone arch. Atop each one are two statues of armored knights on horsebacks with lances, ready to charge towards each other. They're both looking at each other from both sides of this ginormous stone bridge that you can't even really make out, but you see the figure across the other side of the bridge, as at least the snow has kind of died down a bit, although the weather, like you said, is getting colder. The wind bites and howls like wolves as it passes through this gorge, and you see at first just this bridge, and basically you can only maybe see that, and then somewhere in the distance you see another stone tower. You kind of reluctantly ask yourself if you really want to like go much farther than that, but then as you look towards your left, you actually see some forestry.
Yeah.
At least-
One little thing is, if Dirge is gonna have to go outside, she's gonna bring her stupid warhorse,
Yeah, that's fine.
and it'll follow 30 feet behind her.
Gypsy comes clucking down the stairs. You
Takes
find
like 5 minutes, but she does it.
And then you find these trees, which will be plenty enough to have a fire for tonight, as Kashmir uses his mage hand to snap off branches and looks to you to maybe chop some bigger pieces of flanking off of this tree.
She'll take Sunblade out. I don't think Sunblade makes heat; it just makes light, I believe.
Yeah. So nonetheless, you're able to get some resources and head back, and you guys set up a fire with Kashmir casting firebolt and lighting the wood that you've acquired, enough to hopefully get you through the night. And if not, you know that there's trees nearby to go cut up some more. Is there anything you guys would like to do before we end this long rest?
God, becoming a cuddly
Let's start this long rest. Yeah. Guy transforms into a big cuddly bear.
Sure. Pile in, everybody! Just rolls out on her back.
So
That's-
everybody
Not creepy at all.
Dirge doesn't care.
nestles
Dirge-
right in.
Dirge wants that bear to just lay on her.
Everybody takes Dirge up on their guy up on that. Kashmir actually sits on the opposite side, as he doesn't really look that cold at all.
Oh.
But everybody else,
For
even
the next 2 hours, people. Then you'll just have a bond.
nonetheless, you get 2 hours of warmth. Anybody else want to accomplish anything before?
No, can't really do anything else that I can think of.
All right, so you start to rest up for the night. Now, somewhere up top of this snowy mountain peak, in a gigantic kind of cavern, lays an unconscious, impaled dwarf on the floor. Dragar, you kind of fade in and out of consciousness. You catch glimpses of this bird, at first kind of like raging out on you and maybe even tossing you around for a bit longer. But you also catch kind of glances of it also leaving you alone, as it seems like it was trying for whatever reason to wake you up. And this is kind of happening to you in like flashes, and you don't really know. It feels like an eternity has passed, maybe only minutes, maybe hours. There's really impossible for you to tell, and you've pretty much accepted the fact that you're probably going to die. Nonetheless, one of the last kind of glances that you get as this bird is like nudging you to wake you up, it kind of limps over, as it seems like it has taken quite a bit of damage nonetheless. And it limps over to the nest, and you see kind of popping up from the nest several, maybe like 3 or 4 baby rocks. Although calling them babies is kind of ridiculous, as they are at least double the size of a normal human. And it kind of falls into the nest, and the babies start kind of calling around it, looking for its mother's attention. You'd assume they call almost, you get the sense, hungrily. But the beast is at this point a little bit too injured to hurt itself. And you, for what seems like I said, ever kind of fade in and out of consciousness. Make me a death save. You're on mute also. Do 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 do. Dragar.
Dragar's in denial. He doesn't want to roll. He's just like,
Yeah.
no.
Dragar.
One day he will unmute his microphone and the world will be glorious.
Dragar.
What
There
do
we
you want me
go.
to roll in, sorry?
Roll
Death
death
save.
save.
16. You succeed at your first death save, but fade out of consciousness. You wake up probably a couple hours later. Roll another quick death save
Oh,
as
jeez.
you see a flash of
Hey.
this creature's children looking to wake up its mother, but it is currently sleeping. You make another death save, and the beast turns over and goes to look at you for a second, this giant rock, but you freeze instantly and realize that you should probably play dead, as it seems like it's trying to wake you up to feed its children. You get the sense that maybe it wants a moving kind of food for its children to eat, and you realize this and determine that you shouldn't move at all. Give me a quick actually, you're fine. You can just lay dead on the ground. You're pretty much
All
dead
right.
anyways,
Yeah, I'll
or
play
you definitely are dead. And when the beast goes over to you and nudges you a couple times, you kind of slide across the floor. And it just waits there looking at you. It bends down and kind of sniffs. And you at first maybe think that it's on to your tactics and question if it's going to eat you at any given second, but nonetheless falls back to its nest. You fall back out of consciousness again.
Oh.
A couple more hours pass by. And the next thing you feel is someone shaking you.
Really?
Roll one more death save.
What? Is there something wrong with that?
Yes. Is there something wrong with it? That'd be interesting if you just had 16.
How does that
No,
work?
you rolled 3 16s in a row. That's impressive.
Roll it like 5 more times just to see if it's messed up or something.
Wow.
But there's just a weird
Mathematically,
coincidence.
that's a pretty low chance.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'll take 3 16s. Hey, I thought the bird ate me. I was just listening in.
It is pitch dark, but you feel someone shaking you. As you finally come to, you see a figure hovered over top of you, kneeling down, looking in, shaking to wake you up. As you finally come to, you see a very familiar face. As you make eye contact with this person, you see none other than Alton sitting there looking at you, and he whispers as you come into consciousness.
What?
He looks to you and just says, "Shh," and he points to the bird. You have this overwhelming feeling that you're dreaming. As you see Alton's face, you have a clear memory of him being basically cut in half right across the gut. You know that this can't possibly be true, but nonetheless, there he stands, pale Alton right in front of you.
That's
do
quite
you
odd. Stand there shocked, quiet, won't say anything. I would listen to this, but I would be very confused.
He whispers in, "Dragar, my friend, we must get out of here."
I would grab my warhammer and want to bash the bird on the head with it. But I would just.
He
look
shakes
at
his
him.
head no and tells you, "We have to leave."
I would go with him. Mystified, obviously, that he's there.
Give me a stealth check.
It's not very good.
I did say this was going to happen to you as you roll
You're like, you're gonna roll a bunch of ones. I think this is your fault.
a nat 1 again. You go to kind of stealthily leave the cave, but as you grab your hammer, it's so icy cold that when you go to pick it up, it kind of shocks you and you drop it. and echoing out through the entire cave is the ringing of your hammer dropping. Instantly, the rook wakes up and is in a fit of rage as it is pissed and now realizing that you're alive is looking to finish what it started. What are you going to do?
Dragar rages, picks up his warhammer, looks at Alton, and shrugs his shoulder.
Dragar, for the record, is at 1 HP.
Oh, really? Can Dragar sustain, like, maybe what the rock might be? Like, how's the rock feelings right now? How's the rock feeling?
You can give a quick maybe insight or perception, whatever you feel.
Just real quick, because obviously I'm probably on the way out very quickly. I think this is the only... I don't know why you're being so nice to me.
You have no clue.
Okay, yeah, no, I'd follow Alton. I'm out.
So running for your life is the strategy?
When you say it like that, I have a really hard time with it.
What's that?
So when you say it like that, I have a really hard time with it. Dragar would nonchalantly leave the cave as fast as he could, following the ghost form of Alton, trying to be quiet, but running for his life would be, out of the option.
Absolutely.
Right, cool.
As you wake the bird up, Alton calls out to you that you have to run. We have to run for our lives, he says, Dragar.
Oh, jeez. All right, let's go. Fuck. Dragar
Hard
will
for
fuck.
you. You run across this empty cave wall or this empty cave surface that you're in, and he instantly calls out. Or as you get to the entrance of this cave, you look, and all you see is a black kind of snowy descent. You're literally on like a mountain peak at this point.
Dragar would take his shield off his back. And you've been saying it's been snowing for quite a while now, right?
Yes, I have. I know where this is going already.
Dragar would, with his 1 health, he would drink the potion from the Vistani health potion. Dragar would drink the Vistani health potion.
Okay.
Can I do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me get back to that real quick.
Do I gain any health at all?
Let me tell you about that. I actually forgot that you had it until this very moment. So yeah, you chug back this potion, and the taste that meets your tongue is awful and tastes very similar to what you could only assume stale piss.
No.
And
I
you
really love stale piss.
you receive no healing whatsoever as you have a flashback to this cheeky Vistani that had this stupid smirk on his face the entire time he was selling this to you. And fuck him is basically probably the only thing that you can think, as you do not feel better whatsoever.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to remember to find him later. Dragar whips the bottle of bullshit Vistani health potion.
Almost puke.
Down the mountain. Almost pukes.
Alton
holds
looks
himself.
to you and says, "Do you trust me, Dragar?"
Yeah, let's do this.
And then he says, "Grab on and jump."
Done. Dragar puts a shield under his ass just in case.
Just to break the fall of jumping across or off of a mountain.
Yeah.
You jump and you plunge hundreds of feet into darkness. All you see is the cave or the mountain rapidly falling behind you as you plunge into mist, snow, and dark. And you're falling for what seems like ever and fast, and just speeds that are just like whipping your beard and face, and snow is crystallizing and tears are drying up as you fall through. And then you look over at Alton, who is grabbing on, and you give me a quick perception.
Nice.
Nailed it. The first thing you notice is the giant rock flying out from behind you guys and squawking in anger. And then the second thing you also realize is as you look over at Alton, he obviously seems a little pale, but you also are quite pale yourself. And as you're falling and falling quite fast, you see that he's doing some kind of arcane chant. And then suddenly you stop almost falling with a tremendous amount of speed. and start to float down, much like a feather.
Ah. Okay.
And as you start feather falling down along the mountainside, you see this giant rock start descending upon you, and it's going to make a quick perception check, and it does so quite well. Or it doesn't actually have that good, but it does so at advantage. 15. It starts to home in on you guys pretty easily, and you notice that at any second it's going to catch up to you guys, even though you've fallen quite far. It flies really fast, and you're falling like a feather at this point. It's only a matter of time before it catches. Alton looks at you, looks at the bird. What do you say, Jagar? What do you do?
Do I still have Bone Breaker in my hand?
Yes, you do.
I was looking at Alden, and I questioned him, like, what now? Did I gotta ask what now?
He responds with, "We must hide, Jagar."
Drago starts searching around for any crevice in the walls to hide himself in.
And as you do so, you kind of land on a stone kind of shelving, not necessarily a path of any sorts, but definitely like an embankment on the mountainside. And as you frantically look around and look for a place to hide, you're still high up on a mountain, and in complete darkness. It seems pretty hopeless at this point, but as you're looking around, and Alton is just kind of calmly standing there, and you look back in disbelief that even this is happening. You probably even slap yourself in the face to see if you're dreaming, but you're not dreaming in any way. And he calls you over, looking calm as ice, for lack of a better pun, and waves you closer. And as he does so, he does another arcanic chant, and the first thing you notice is him falling completely invisible, disappearing right in front of you. And then you feel a hand reach out and grab onto you. And then as you look at this ice cold hand grabbing you and see nothing, you also see your own hand start to fade away, and you also go invisible.
Really?
The rock flies down. It lands on the pretty close to you guys and starts sniffing around for you. It seems confused by the fact that you just disappeared, even though it presumably watched you guys land. You look across it, or you feel a tugging at your hand as you feel Alton pulling you and kind of tucking you in across the side of the mountain, and you follow him and kind of hide yourself. And with that, the beast sniffs around for a moment longer, squawks in pain, kind of hits where it's seen you guys land, trying to just like whack at anything that would possibly be there, but obviously has no sense doing so. Its head wheels over and kind of just sniffs the air about less than 5 feet away from where you guys are. You can actually feel your beard being like blown by the smelling of this creature as it tries to find where you are. And then its eyes just kind of become parallel with your eyes, and it's looking, and it looks directly at you and stares there for a moment, and then looks down and then squawks and flies away.
Oh, thank God. Dragar says, oh, thank God.
Alton
Bird doesn't hear me, does it?
No, unless you're yelling it, which
No, not at all.
by all means we can have that happen.
Nope. Good.
Your friend Alton snaps himself out of invisibility. You do so after several minutes fly by. Alton looks at you with a smile, a warm smile that you remember so cleanly as the loving smile of Alton. And he says, Jagar, my friend, we have so much to catch up on, so much to do.
Dragar wonders how you hear me, Alton.
And then with that, we will pan on over to the long rest of the group. You guys, I'm going to say, sleep through the night pretty easily. You've been through a lot in the last couple hours. You're able to have, although it's cold after Gaia slips out of her
Shift her bear form.
yeah, shifts back into human or fawn form. You guys are a little bit cold, but the fire at least keeps you warm, and you have a long rest throughout the night. You wake up rather early from the cold. Kashmir is already sitting there. He's awake and he's kind of studying this hearth and fire pit. Already awoken before you, and as Gaia wakes up, everybody else wakes up along with her. Kashmir looks to everyone. Did you have a good sleep?
Well, as good as one can have when it's freezing. So, yeah, yes.
The first 2 hours were great. It got a little bit colder as the night went on, but at least Gaia kept me warm. She's kind of like glancing over all the other facts, but it was at least acceptable.
Well, he looks to everybody. Shall we continue? Shall we find this temple today?
Indeed. I think that would be a good idea. I think I'll be bare again, just because it was warmer.
As you push open the door, the snowstorm has kind of subsided now. Although an immense amount of snow has fallen, probably several, even like maybe a meter of snow, or not necessarily a meter, sorry, that's a lot, but maybe a foot of snow has fallen. As you open up the door, it kind of tumbles in, and the path that you guys led here has completely been covered by the snow. But you look out, and the weather at least is not as terrible now.
That is
promising. Do we not want to deal with the statue on the roof? Because if not, then I'm going to retrieve my sword.
Well,
just saying.
I guess we can check out the statue now that the weather's died down. I would hate for this thing to be following us as we travel on.
All right, so up to the the third and top kind of outlook part. How are we approaching the door? As you come back, it seems like it was undisturbed. The trapdoor, the sword is still in there.
Dirge would pull out the sword, hand it to Rion, and then take a defensive posture as she opens the hatch to take a look at this statue.
All right, you push open the door, and what you see is a gold-plated statue. It stands atop in its battlements facing towards you. As you look around, you see several other all around the kind of outer rim of this tower. They're all looking towards and pointing their lances at the trapdoor. You also notice now that the weather is a lot better and not stormy, that they're actually female knights all holding lances. The cold wind kind of gently stirs by, moving a little bit of the snow as it does so. You look and see kind of under the snow, sticking out a skeletal hand. It looks like it's cladded in rusty mail.
It looks like somebody died up here. Maybe by these statues or by the element. I don't know. Can she reach the skeletal hand?
You'd have to actually go up to the, actually climb out and on top of the tower to do so.
All right, yeah. Dirge will carefully climb up onto the roof.
All right, so I'm going to bring everybody over to that tower first of all, and then Dirge, if you just look slightly up, you'll see the next level of the tower. And as you do so, you approach this skeletal and kind of push away the snow that's buried it through the storm, and you see that it has tattered bits of cloth. It has a broken longbow and several rusted arrows, or the tips of it rusted. A rusty short sword, which is sheathed in a ruined sheath, and it's also adorned in rusty chainmail.
Okay. Dirge will very, very carefully examine these statues, and you'll see her eyes will always glance back kind of periodically at the hatch, as if she's ready to get out of there if she has to.
And as you glance at these statues, they're all just kind of like sitting there looking like they're on duty, pointing, ready to attack. Obviously, what Rion's seen when he opened was just this statue standing there pointing at him. But they don't seem to move. They don't seem to do anything.
Can they be adjusted at all?
If you were to push on it, it would be pretty locked in place, set in the stone. They're also roughly like 7 to 8 feet tall. They're rather big.
So they're not a 1-to-1 scale from what we could tell.
No, or you would not. I guess not assume.
Okay. Yeah, Dirge would just kind of take like a brief account in her head of how many there are, and anything unusual about them, and then she would just head back down.
All right, and you do so. You count. I'm going to say 6 statues, and as you look at them for a moment longer, everyone just kind of anxiously looking up for you to come down or say something. Anything that happened, nothing does so. None of the remains on this dead, rusty, chainmailed person seem of value. You come downstairs, and nothing really happens.
Yeah, it was apparently just 6 statues. I'm not sure how the other person died, but apparently it was 6 women statues. Maybe they just didn't like men. I don't know. She's just like not sure what to say beyond that.
That seems awfully odd that they're pointing towards the trap door. You would think that they would be facing outward, to show that's the way most statues are at the top of the tower. They're facing outward, not inward. That just seems really weird.
I agree, but I don't know. I mean, you're free to go up and check, I suppose. I didn't check them for magic, but we can leave.
So you want to do anything?
I'm good.
You good?
I'm. Of course, I already got my sword. I'm going downstairs and starting to head out the door.
All right, so you start stomping through the snow. Give me a perception check, everybody, as we head outside.
We find Dragar.
Yes,
half
there's
dead in the snow.
Dragar standing there with a happy smile on his face, completely fine. But no, Dirge and Rion definitely realize, as you look at this stone wall that you've passed through, 24, also realize the green flame is now back. The dispel magic has obviously worn off. But what strikes you as even more awkward is the demonic statues that were guarding the entrance that you came from, clearly looking down at the portcullises, are now facing yous, seemingly guarding what seems like the other side. But they still are completely stone. You don't know if maybe you just you're so cold that you maybe thought they were facing one way or the other, but nonetheless, they are quite clearly staring at what you assume the opposite direction now, looking at yous again.
This place is weird.
Indeed, I think it's a good thing that we are trying to leave.
Kashmir shrugs and says, maybe they were just facing, we're so cold, maybe we just looked wrong. And then he just looks at them and he kind of like waves his hand to see if they do anything. The statues don't move. He says, if they're not bothering us, why would we bother them?
Do these statues have any vague resemblance to the ones I saw earlier on the roof?
The ones at the top of the tower?
Yeah.
Definitely not. These are like demonic kind of vultures, human-sized. The ones on top of the tower are clearly like female knights, humanoid.
This is a bit more ominous, I imagine.
Perhaps if we can dispel the flame once more, that would be helpful so we can continue on our way.
And as you say that, Kashmir would say, dispel the flame. We don't want to go backwards, do we? We're going forwards, right? And he points to this direction. If we go that way, we would just be going where we came from. And he says, this way is where we want to go. And he starts walking with, I guess, Rion.
Yep.
I mean, if you want to go back, it would kind of be counterintuitive to the journey we made, but...
Player thought that this was a side path, that they took him off the main path or something.
You said the flame came back?
Yes, it's definitely back.
Okay.
Does anyone want to try to go through it again?
No, I think Rion did a very good job of warning us.
Like, I think Guy would learn from Rion's mistakes. Or Rion. How are you feeling today, Rion? How's those bones? Any better?
Well, I don't know how Chris wants to rule that. Like, would he have scars?
Yeah,
Or no,
probably.
because
He'd probably have a couple of scars, but you did with the magical kind of healing and stuff, and the fantasy world, it would you'd be able to pretty much heal yourself back to like maybe slight scars.
Dirge did totally give you
Okay.
immediate
Yeah.
medical
It's
shield.
nothing like it's not any kind of crazy like curse or anything. So for the most part, you're pretty healed. You can have a couple cool scars if you want, or if you don't, then you fully healed yourself magically.
This is where I lit myself on fire.
Yeah.
But
So your call.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So yeah, if we're gonna continue forward, you come up to this exact same kind of gorge. Now you can see quite a bit more clearly. You see descending several. I'll actually do this as a reference. Several thousand feet down below a river that runs rather vigorously through this gorge, and then a long stone, kind of broken down bridge, but it's rather big, 20 feet, or yeah, about 20 feet in width, and then however many feet across this stone bridge. Each of these kind of little towers have the knights on horses on top of them, just kind of looking like they're staring at each other. If you look over to the right, you'll see what the top looks like. As you look across to the other one, you notice that the left-hand knight has been shattered and broken away. So two on this side facing off towards the northern side, and only one kind of knight on a horse pointing back, as the other one looks like it either was broken or decayed. As you look at the bridge, you notice that it kind of spans across. It has low walls on each side that enclose both paths of it. You notice that a couple of places the bridge has been kind of shattered and broken away, but for the most part, it looks very intact.
How's the wind at this point?
The wind is rather calm. Let me just see the actual distance. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So yeah, about 50 feet. So in that case, give me a perception check. It's kind of far.
Okay. You want all or just
Yeah, everybody
one
can.
or what?
Anybody that's looking across the bridge can do so. If you're not looking across the bridge, then don't. Up to you.
Guy is looking at the tree behind us.
Yeah. Ooh, a tree.
Hey, if we could have used that for firewood last night.
So Rion and Dirge definitely see on the opposite side of a bridge a cloaked rider, and it sits atop of a charcoaled horse. You also notice that the mane of this horse is engulfed in flame.
Is it the same guy that we saw back at the hill with the ravens and the crooked druids?
Or is it Strahd?
Dirge, you remember that horse quite clearly. It's not Rahadin, the elf, but the horse itself, you can't tell from this distance, does instantly remind you of Strahd.
It appears there's she kind of stammers a bit. A statue of Strahd on the other side of this bridge.
And I apologize because it definitely does not seem like a statue. It seems like a figure literally has imposed itself on the opposite side of this bridge and is standing there. And as you look at it, you clearly see that its cloak is blowing in the wind.
And
This does not look like a statue.
And then Dara just like, well, and by statue I mean the person himself.
Why can't we ever get an adventure or a quest to go somewhere and it just be a simple, just go here, pick this up, and return?
Ishmark looks and says, I don't think that happens too often in Barovia, my friend. I
It wouldn't-
apologize.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a wizard's module if it was that easy.
I don't know if it was easy as the bards would have nothing to sing about.
The figure stands completely still, though. Only its cloak blows in the wind. Almost like stone still. Doesn't move. The horse doesn't really move besides its fiery mane kind of blowing in the wind.
And how far away is it? Like directly across on this bridge, or is it further?
Yeah,
than
so
that?
it's like standing basically right at the entrance of the tower. Right where your arrow was. So right there.
Okay. Okay. So about 80 feet. Lovely.
Yep.
Where's a fireball when you need it?
Ishmar kind of whispers in, do you think that's who I think it is? Swords at the ready. You see anger swelling up in him. He looks to
Is
Dirge
he
as he says that.
asking me?
Dirge, Rion, you
Okay.
you all hear him whisper it. He's like right behind you, in line with Dirge. I guess we'll say that's how you guys were standing. Kashmir is at the front, but as he sees you guys stop, and looks at the figure and asks if it's somebody. What's going on? He asks.
That appears to be Strahd, ruler of this world. Either that or an illusion of him.
Or could it be possibly one of his minions just on his horse?
I suppose that would be a bit unusual. I mean,
This is Barovia.
As you
What
guys
has been
discuss
normal
this,
here yet?
nothing happens. The statue, or not, sorry, the statue, but the man standing like a statue atop of his horse, does not move. Do we turn back? Kashmir says. Ishmark replies, "Not a chance," as his both weapons are out now, and he looks quite pissed. You're having flashbacks of him stealing his sister, Strahd stealing his sister away. If the
Dirge,
devil has come for us, let's greet him at the gates of hell.
you hear Dirge gulp nervously as she ignites her sunblade and nervously follows behind on her warhorse.
So Ishmark will actually lead then, if anybody doesn't want to do so. As you get closer, it becomes quite clear that it is definitely looking like Strahd. As you get about halfway, the figure takes his hood and lets it fall back, and you do see none other than Strahd's face, a crooked smile on it, as he almost is like baiting you guys on to come. Everybody following?
Yeah, I guess.
She has swords drawn, and she's like, man, we're going to kill this thing.
As Ishmael gets around, okay, go ahead.
Before I'm going to say Gaia runs off, I'm going to touch her and cast Bear's Endurance on her, so she'll gain 2d6 temporary hit points. So, or yeah, you can roll it.
My rolls. Those
So
are
you
good.
You get 12 temporary hit points
Nice.
for an hour, so, or until I lose concentration.
As Ishmael starts to get around maybe 20 feet away, he points his sword at Strahd. Strahd, you bastard! Where's Arena? What have you done with her? I want my sister back. The man on the horse, Strahd, doesn't do anything. He just sits there, smiling. He looks back at you guys, seeing if you're in tow. If you are, Dirge, he would whisper, What do you make of this? He's not moving."
I don't know. What can we do? If he wants to fight us, I don't know what we can do to stop him. And if he doesn't want to fight us, we can just continue, I suppose.
As you make your way to basically the middle of this bridge, the wind is a bit more brisk through this chasm, and it kind of howls and whips by you guys, not in a menacing kind of way, but just enough for you to realize how high up you are. As you look down, you see like a little bit of stone kind of crumble away and fall for several thousand feet into this crevasse and sploosh into the water. Ishmark calls out to Strahd, saying that he will not play any games. If it is a fight to the death you want, then let it be. Come at me. Fight me, you bastard. And with that, he steps forward, and Strahd's smile changes as he shifts his head and he looks, and the horse on fire, this nightmare that he rides, its mane bursts into flames. He lifts his hand up, and a giant fireball spans in it, kind of encasing most of his hand in like this giant orb of fire. He kicks his horse and he rides at you, rearing up, and this horse bursts forth with a tremendous amount of speed and rides right up at you. In one hand, he pulls out his sword and he lets out a battle cry and goes to chuck this fireball right in your faces as he runs at you. And then as impact happens, he just kind of disperses away like a cloud of mist.
Yep. That's why I figured I was going to cast Dispel Magic. Like, I was waiting for you to pause, and I was going to try to cast that, but you kind of kept on going, so. But, all right.
It appears we were foolish enough to see through his illusion. I guess we can keep going.
Up you go, then.
But
as
we
you
should be
ahead.
cautious as we go. That may not have been Strahd, but his minions still could be up. That could be his warning towards us to basically back off.
Ishmar, kind of sweating, lowers his weapons, and then he yells out, which echoes across the cavern, to enough of these games, Strahd. He yells, fight me. I want my sister back. Stop toying with us. And then he kind of reluctantly waits and looks around, kind of calling out to see if anyone replies. The only thing that he hears is his echo dissonate across the cavern and eventually fade away. Frustrated, he sheathes his weapons and says, you kind of hear him mumble to himself that one day he'll face off with him. And you guys carry on. Is Dragar there? Or I noticed that his webcam does not seem to be. Dragar!
Yeah, man.
Hello.
He's alive, barely.
Yeah. Barely. I don't know what.
Oh.
Barely alive. A few minutes has passed now. For you, it's still nighttime or sometime around there. You have not had the luxury of a long rest like everybody else has. But out of a pack, Alton pulls out a vial, what seems like a potion, and hands it to you. Drink, Dragar. You look terrible.
Chug it.
Chug it. You get a potion of healing, one step above the normal potion, so 4d4 plus 4. Let you roll that.
Yep. Oh shit! I just wrote it wrong. The roll. Oh, okay. Sorry.
No worries.
I don't know why I'm doing this wrong.
It's okay. As you're trying to do that, though, he looks to you and says, as you chug back this potion, you do feel a bit of healing. You don't feel great by any means, but you at least feel enough to go on. And he says to you, Jagar, I know you don't feel too great right now, but we must get out of here. We don't want our friend, the big bird, to come back now, do we? I'm going to ask a lot of you, and I know you have so many questions. But for now, just trust me. We must climb down this mountain, and then I will explain everything. Do you trust me, Dragar?
Dragar says, of course, Alton. I've missed you. I still don't understand, but...
All will be clear
don't
soon,
need-
Dragar. I've missed you too, my friend. I can't explain how good it is to see you again. You and those rippling muscles.
Yeah, let's go.
You start climbing your way down the mountain. He actually, conveniently enough, it seems like Alton has just been prepared for everything. He somehow found you in the middle of this mountain pass. He had the perfect amount of spells to get you out of a situation that almost seemed inescapable. And now, of all things, he reaches in his pack and pulls out a climber's kit. Alton, apparently prepared for everything, has these like ice picks and ropes and stuff, and starts climbing down the mountain with you. The storm is still raging on. You're gonna have to, unfortunately, give me another con save. You crush it though, and you start climbing down this mountainside, thousands of feet, for an hour. As you do so, an enormous gust of wind bursts through, and as you're climbing through, it pulls away one of these ice picks that you're on. And as you grab onto the rope kit that you have, you know that you're tied in, but nonetheless, one of the picks give way and you get blown. Give me a quick dexterity save as you're blown, and you fly up into the air for a bit, and the wind catches you and starts bringing you in towards the rope. You slam in and take a d6 damage. Alton does the same thing.
Can I try to protect Alton?
Absolutely, but it might be at the detriment of yourself. You
Yeah,
don't
that's
know
cool.
if you can take another blow. Do you at least want to see how he looks before or are you just going to immediately jump in the way?
I'm gonna immediately jump in the way. I just got him back. I don't want to lose him again.
All right. Luckily for you, Alton doesn't do so great, and he does slip. You are able to catch him and take most of the brunt for him. He does slam into you, and he kind of knocks your head back, and you take a little bit more damage as you do so. You take 2 more damage, as it's not obviously the same amount of weight as being blown against the side of the cliff, but his body does like kind of slam into your head and knock you against the rock, kind of giving you a goose egg or cutting open your skull. You already look terrible, and Alton looks to you and says, "Dragar, you must be careful, my friends. You're very hurt right now.
Dragar says I not lose you again.
And I do not want to lose you again, Dragar. Be careful."
Keep climbing.
You collect yourself and you start climbing down. Give me, I apologize, I'm making you do a whole bunch of skill checks here in a row. But,
Hey, I'm awesome. You go ahead.
One more con save as another several hours pass by.
Ta-da!
Nice.
Dragar
Just
was
with
too
the
good.
pure excitement of being reunited with Alton again, pushes you enough to carry on, and after several hours you climb and find yourself at the bottom of a mountain pass. You look up and see what seems like an eternity of mountain is the only thing you see. You're at the bottom of the mountain, and says, it seems like we've made it this far, but just a bit further, Jagar. We've almost made it, and then we can rest.
And Dragar would look down at Bone Smasher the hammer, and he would look back up at the where he came from, and he would just hang his head, and he would follow Alton.
And he kind of walks you through a snowy forest as you've made your way down this mountain, and you carry through, kind of trudging through the snow that's built up from the storm. And you inevitably make your way through the forest for about another hour and then come out to a path. And along this pathway, you do recognize it as probably the same path that you and your friends originally set up upon. And you look and you see this mountain and you remember your friends, Dirge, Gaia, Ishmark, Rion, and even the precarious or weird little elf, Kashmir.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look to Alton, and he just smiles and kind of, at this point, embraces you, gives you a hug, and says, Dragar, it's so good to see you. Come this way, come this way. And he points, and you see where he points to is this carriage, a black carriage, completely adorned in this black kind of ivory wood. It's very shiny and looks high quality. 2 dark horses are at the reins.
Dragar would definitely hesitate.
Dragar
asks where we go.
I have so much to show you, Dragar. You must come with me. I brought you this far. You do trust your good friend Alton. don't you? I promise. Come in this carriage. Rest. I'll explain everything. I have something to show you.
Dragar wonders what more information. Dragar happy
Oh,
to see
Dragar, you're
Milton,
so tired. You're so injured. You must rest. I understand. You have so many questions for Alton. But look at you. You need rest. You need to relax. Come relax with Alton. We'll make you feel better.
Dragar watched you die. Is Dragar dead?
You're not dead, Dragar, and neither am I.
Dragar held your body.
Do you not trust me, my friend? Has our relationship changed? We were inseparable at the beginning. Has this time made your heart grow frail for me? Do you not love Alton anymore? I promise. Please rest. Please come in the carriage with me. All will be explained. I have someone I want you to meet.
Yeah, Dragar hops in the carriage.
Perfect. He brings you in. He opens the carriage. It's lined with bright red, cushy velvet. You instantly step in and feel all your cold kind of wither away as it's very temperate in this wagon. Probably magically so. And as you get in, you just feel much better. You sit back and he says, I have so much to tell you, Dragar. All will be explained soon. And then he taps on the wood, and the horses start trotting away the opposite direction of the mountain. But first, rest. And he holds his hand over you, and he casts sleep. And you fall asleep.
Yep, Dragar's sleeping.
Next, we go back to our groups. Sorry to cut out Dan. I know you didn't really get too much accomplished today, but we'll figure it
Very
out.
happy, man. Very, very happy. Not dead. Yes.
Next, we'll shift back to our group who is climbing up the mountain. You find yourself on basically a clearing, and as you come up, you see that there's basically a pathway on each side, several more of these like kind of pine trees that you found at the beginning of this bridge that you've passed a little while ago. And the clearing kind of is like this mountaintop forest, a path kind of funneling you through the center of it. You walk along it, and as you look, the air is a bit warmer. It's still cold. You still see the snow kind of falling off of these pine trees from the storm of last night. You hear a couple cawing of little birds, and you see little crows and ravens kind of flutter out. And as that actually happens, you see the swarm of ravens all kind of descend upon you and caw and crow. The one speaks to you, Gaia, in Druidic, and says that there was no sign of your friend. They've searched everywhere all night. They lost a couple of ravens in the search from the cold weather and storm. He apologizes, but your friend Dragar, he's gone. And this is all in like bird, basically.
Yeah, so it's kind of taking in this information. Her face will just get very serious, and she'll look back at the others and she'll just go, I suppose they could not find Dragar. They believe he's gone.
Well, he may or may not be gone, but I would rest a lot easier if I could at least confirm for myself.
The ravens tell you, Gaia, that they can continue searching, but they're not meant for this condition. They don't know how much longer they can last. You can tell that they don't want to search any longer, but they do owe you a favor. So if you ask them to, they will continue. But you know that Mole will die.
She would believe that the favor, they've done what they could, and certainly wouldn't want to exhaust them any beyond what they've already done. And so she would dismiss them, saying Druidic, no, thank you for the help that you've given. Perhaps we'll have fortune in our luck, we are going up higher. Maybe there's something we can see from above.
Hmm. And they wish you good luck, and they say that if you ever need their help again, that they would be apt to try and assist you. They don't do too well good at this weather, but if you ever find yourself below mountain level, to again use the whistle, and they will be there.
We
Go ahead.
hopefully we won't need assistance, but thank you so very much for your assistance, and perhaps we'll meet again on better terms.
And they agree and say good luck on your journey and good luck on finding your friend. They hope you do.
Thank you.
They shall pray to Lathander, the god of light, that you do find Dragar.
Thank you.
And I'm just getting ready to pull you guys over to what you see next. Give me a second here. You start kind of walking along this funnel in this forest, and you notice up ahead that there is what seems like a clearing. The snow at this point is almost glistening like a light, as it's kind of reflecting what little daylight is showing. And as you kind of almost walk towards this opening, it's just like beckoning you to come to it. You burst forth through this tree line into an opening, and you see another kind of peak of a mountain. And embezzled in this mountain, you see a road that kind of fades away under the covering of snow, but it takes you far enough to see the facade of some kind of temple carved into the side of this mountain up ahead. The front of the structure is easily 50 feet high. It has 6 alcoves containing 20-foot tall statues. Each statue is carved from a single block of amber and depicts a faceless, hooded figure. These hooded figures have their hands clasped together, almost as if they're gesturing a prayer. Between the innermost of the 2 statues in the center, you see a 20-foot tall archway, the staircase leading down in towards what seems like a giant amber door. And I'll pull you to the map. And Kashmir says, "See, I told you I would bring you there." He looks to Rion. This is clearly it.
Indeed, it was. It certainly it's a description. So.
And then who am I missing? I'm missing Kashmir. So yeah, you all come across this forest clearing behind you, and as you look forth, you see like a worn down road that's been mostly covered by the snow at this point, but you do see what seems like a path that at least has been used, because if it wasn't, you wouldn't be able to see it at all. You see these giant statues in these alcoves, and then in the center of it, you see a giant staircase leading down towards an amber door. Above this, almost the mountain, it's almost kind of carved into the mountain, and as you look to the top of the mountain, you see its peak, and there's a large covering of snow all above it. This place is basically like a little carved out temple inside of this like snowy mountain. You see large like little overlappings of snow drift kind of tucked above it, several feet of it, several like even like 20 to 30 feet of snow above the top of this mountainside. Kashmir kind of looks impressed with himself as he was able to lead you guys to where he said he was, and say, shall we go inspect this temple? Looking to everybody to see what they say.
Yes. I guess. I mean, we're all already here.
This is what we came for, right? And with that, he starts heading on. And as you guys make it to about where I have you on the map, sorry, I'm going to move you back a bit, Gaia. I don't know if I moved you there or if you moved there, but were you able to move yourself this time?
Yeah.
Hey. As you about catch yourself there, you hear from behind you the loud blowing of a horn. It seems like kind of echoes across the entire valley that you find yourself in, and reverberates into the alcoves of this temple and echoes back to you. You all stop and you just listen Moments later, after the echoing stops, you hear the blowing of the horn again.
Coming from in
Does it
front
sound
of
like it's
us or
coming
behind
closer?
us?
Give me a perception. It's echoing like crazy, so it's kind of hard to tell, but maybe with a good perception, you might be able to hear.
And is that for both me and Dirge,
Anybody
or
anybody
just
that's
Dirge
trying to
or
discern
what?
that. If you're trying to figure that out, then go ahead and roll it. I'm impartial.
11!
11 is not enough. The echoing 7, 8, 9
Wow.
are not enough. So yeah, nobody is able to really discern where it's coming from. What do? You're kind of caught in this opening now. About 20, 30 feet away is the forest, and then maybe 50, 60 feet away you estimate is the temple. You're kind of just caught out in this opening.
Well, I mean, we can either go to the temple or not. I mean, what other choices do we have?
Kashmir agrees with you. He starts walking. Everybody else?
And as
Okay,
Kashmir
maybe.
starts to walk, Dirge looks to Rion and she says, "Whenever he agrees with me, I feel like I'm making a bad choice."
I don't think he's right in the mind. But that could be just my anger talking. I don't know.
You did seem pretty angry.
He looks back at you. Are you guys
He
coming
did
or
lie
not?
to us.
Yes, we're coming.
Yeah, even Dragar, because his token is there.
Ah, Dragar's there. That's awkward. All right, so as you start making your way towards the temple, the horn blows again, and then this time you don't need a perception check to hear it. You hear what sounds like the marching or moving of what you can only discern as the sound of an army moving, and it becomes apparent that it is behind you. As you turn to look, I presume, you see bursting from the forest behind you these enormous dire wolves. Dozens upon dozens, if not hundreds of them, start spewing from the forest behind you. As you look, these wolves are massive in size, easily 10, like maybe 8 feet tall. They're much bigger than any even dire wolf that you've normally seen. And you also notice riding upon them are these what seem like very similar to the berserkers you fought before, but they're more adorned in the appropriate weather. So like big fur coats, and they're carrying these rusty battle axes, and a very sizable army approaches in behind you. They all stop at the tree line. You hear a couple of them like bark, growl, a few howl, and then bursting forth, riding on a horse, is the man you recognize as Rahadin, the Dusk Elf
Yep,
that you
time to go
faced
in.
off. He calls out, "Welcome! Welcome to the temple, my friends. It's so good that you made it here."
I think we should ignore him and go inside.
Yes, let's go inside. This is either an illusion or an army. And I don't want to talk with them.
It would be a pretty crazy illusion. It's not within the realm of possibilities, obviously, you know, the spells are high, but to create like a army of dire wolves and stuff, it'd be some pretty powerful
My
stuff.
heart would be a little bit more at ease if I could pretend it's an illusion. Okay.
Illusionary terrain.
So everyone's beelining for the temple?
Yes, I know this temple is bad, but
Yeah, Kashmir says that he doesn't know who that guy is, but he doesn't really want to mess with that many wolves and riders. So he is totally in the agreement with Rion and starts running. Gaia runs, Ishmark runs, Dirge runs. You all run towards the temple door, I'm presuming.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they get in easier.
What's
I'm
that?
guessing that's the only way we. I'm guessing that's the only way we can get in. Correct.
That you've seen, yeah, absolutely. You haven't really had,
So-
like, obviously, if you want to like stand outside and inspect everything, you can take a look around. But from what you've discerned so far, obviously the amber doors are what calls out to you. And you don't know how long the wolves will kind of stay put. As you run forth, you hear Rodin kind of kick at his horse, and the wolves start to charge in after you. You hear him laughing and calling out to you, go forth, you fools. Seal yourselves in your own tomb, for this is where you'll die. This will become your resting grounds. This temple will become your tomb. This is what you get for angering Strahd. Scurry forth like the rats you are and hide in your nook, but know that you will die. And as you run forth, you come up to the door, and it's massive amber, shining this kind of auburn red. You look at it 20 feet high. Rion and Casimir kind of slam into it. I'm trying to push it, but it's so big that the two of them can't do it. But with the combined strength of all of you, you're able to push open the door. And then you look behind as a last kind of second and see that the riders are obviously kind of descending upon you, but still several feet out. You hear the booming voice of Rahadin as he casts thaumaturgy and makes his voice kind of echo out. You can't escape this kind of insults and farewell that he's sending you. And as his voice echoes, you hear the rumbling of the entire temple as you head inside of it. And as you look behind you, you see the snow atop of the mountain peak start to avalanche in. And literally, as you're going in the temple, you see hundreds of thousands of pounds and foot of snow kind of fall and essentially seal you guys in this temple. You head on in. Icy steps descend 10 feet to a time-ravaged hallway. You see arrow slits on both sides of this tiny little hallway that you walk in. Beyond the hall lies a vast, ominous darkness. You step forth into what seems like a grand cathedral. It's completely dark. Anyone that doesn't have dark vision cannot see anything. If you do have dark vision, this map is to scale. You look forth and you see that you're on a 20-foot high or 20-foot wide balcony. It's black marble with shattered railings that overlook a vast temple. A black marble staircase makes its way down each end of this balcony and descends 30 foot to the temple floor. The vaulted ceiling is 30 feet. There's a vaulted ceiling, 30 feet above the balcony that you are currently on. The walls and ceiling are covered in what seems like an amber glaze, lending to the gloom and the golden sheen of this room. It kind of just like shimmers in as you are walk. It almost has this kind of awkward, like glowing, as like a glittering as the entire wall and whatnot. A set of amber doors stand close at the west end of the balcony and a similar pair at the east. And the dark vision is only 60 feet? 60? Anyone know off the top of your hand? 60 feet of dark vision, I believe.
Yeah, 60 feet is the default unless you're a drow.
Yeah, so that's what you essentially see. And with that, you look back
to area.
And you see, I couldn't find a player map, so it's going to say stuff like open to X5 and stuff like that and show you the numbers. As you look behind you, you see that the snow has completely kind of channeled in the hallway and essentially sealed you guys in this temple. You don't think that there would be any easy way out, and you kind of take around your surroundings. You look at this temple, this massive corridor, all the walls lined with amber, just kind of ominously glittering. Take in your surroundings and think of the circumstance that you find yourself in, and that is where we'll probably close it down for the night.
Huh?
So, thanks anyone for hanging out. Good to be back with you guys. Until next time.